We've never been connected online as we are now. But here's the thing, although we're connected, so many people feel so lonely, insecure, emotionally exhausted, and mentally overwhelmed. Social media has become such a big part of our life that sometimes we even reach out for our phone before we are fully awake, before our eyes are fully open. And the thing with social media is that it affects how we think, how we behave, how we interact with each other. And most importantly, it also affects how we measure our value. And don't get me wrong, social media has its benefits. It can be educational, it can be inspiring, it can even be healing in some ways. But a lot of people, they underestimate how deeply social media can affect our mental health.
I agree because social media is not casual anymore. I feel like back in the day when we were younger, it's just something you go on to laugh with your friends, have fun. It wasn't a big deal. And now it's become this emotional environment where it's consuming every second of every day. And I don't think we realize how much information we're absorbing, and not all of it is positive or even meant to be absorbed by a human being constantly in that way. And I feel like it's too much stimulation, the comparison, you know, when you see somebody else and you start feeling less than because of what you
Mm.
see, which a lot of the times what you see might not be what it really is. You know, I feel like it
Right.
creates pressure to be a certain way that's not you. And a discomfort to be yourself, feeling like maybe it won't be accepted. So sometimes all of that exposure and constantly processing that, I don't think it's always good for us. And I feel like sometimes you don't always realize it. Sometimes, you know, your self esteem may start dropping, you're not noticing. You're a little more self conscious than you used to be, a little more anxious than you used to be, and not really pinpointing where it's coming from or why. So, and again, it affects people in different ways. So, you know, today I feel like we really wanted to have an honest conversation about the psychological effects of social media, and both the unhealthy and the positive parts too. Because as you said earlier, there are positive parts to it.
Yes, there are. So this is Breaking the Silence, where we talk about things that people don't often say out loud. I think one of the biggest or main mental health effects of social media is the comparison culture, Cassie. Before, we used to, compare ourselves to people who are directly around us, like, our friends that we see on a daily basis. But now, just a click, just a scroll, you see hundreds, thousands of persons showing their lifestyles, showing their achievements, their relationships, their their money, their beauty, and so on. And you looking, you would be like, OMG, my life is so small, or I'm so behind. But what happens is that social media, it removes the context because persons only show us the happy moments. We don't see the stress, we don't see the debt, we don't see the insecurities, we don't see the emotional struggles. And that's the thing with social media. And then we're left, thinking that we're not worthy, and that also affects our self esteem. And I feel like our brain gets so much of these images that we start to think like we need to do more in order for us to replicate those images. But you have to be your own person. Everybody has a different journey. That person may be ahead of you based on society's standards, but that does not mean that maybe 2 or 3 years, down the line, that you will not be ahead of them. Everybody has their winning season. So maybe now is their winning season, but yours is coming. So be patient with yourself, guys. Be patient.
I understand what you're saying. I feel like nobody is ahead of anybody because if God has a completely different plan for me than what He has for you, how can you compare apples to oranges? There's nobody's ahead of anybody. I
Mm-hmm.
think people made that up to try and feel good about themselves, to say they're ahead of somebody.
Yeah,
That's
we
not
go
true.
based on off of society standards.
And I don't know where they get
That
that.
by a certain age, you should have
Whose
accomplished that.
forefather whose forefather came up with that? I don't agree with it, and I don't think it makes any sense. Okay? And I feel like a lot of human beings, we create a lot of things to make ourselves unhappy. That's not
That is so
real.
true. Mm-hmm.
So for me, I'm happy for them. Like when you were saying you see them on social media and the money and the this, I'm happy for them. Like we have to learn how to be happy for each other and stop seeing it as, oh, that means she's ahead, oh, that means she's doing better. No, listen, you show me something, you like it, I love it, great job, that's it. If just stay on that and your momentum will pick up. So comparison becomes even more dangerous when someone is already struggling with their
Oh, yep.
self-esteem. They're
Yep.
struggling mentally, they're struggling emotionally, they feel insecure, they feel lost, they feel stuck, they're unhappy in their life. So
Mm-hmm.
comparison will amplify that.
And as
That's
this
why you have to
comparison is the thief of joy.
joy. That is why you have to be secure in who you
Wow.
are. You have to know who you are and stop letting what other people have going on be a problem for you. That's their business. Let them figure it out with God. That don't have nothing to do with you. So it's like suddenly people will start feeling like they're fading, like you were saying. Or
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my gosh, I have to rush because I haven't reached this milestone. Maybe you were not meant to. Maybe that's not the path for you. Maybe God wanted you to do X, Y, and Z, but here you are doing the wrong thing, and that's why it's not working. We
Right.
need to tap into who we are and the messages we getting from the higher power as to what we need to be doing, and we need to stop watching what other people like have going on. So it's like, as you were saying, people will feel the pressure to have the perfect body, the perfect relationship, the perfect career, the perfect lifestyle. Guys, they're not real. Why? It's not. Why people think that real? It's not real. You know what's real though? A life that's perfect for you, right? And what's perfect for you might not be perfect for somebody else. Does that mean it's not perfect? No, it doesn't. It's perfect. If
Mm-hmm.
it's perfect for me, then it's perfect. Go and figure out what's perfect for you. And we need to stop the judging and stop the girl.
Yes.
I'm thinking about it, and
Mm-hmm.
social media is like you really have to be strong
You
to
do.
participate and to put yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
And that should not be these bullies, these cyber bullies hiding behind their computers. Stop that. Why are we creating
What
such
am
a
I like?
negative why are we creating such an environment where other people are afraid to be themselves, or other people
Mm-hmm.
are afraid to do something positive because, oh, this person is gonna say what? That's their business. Let them say what they're gonna say. But I will tell you this, something a wise person told me. When somebody's being nasty to you, it says a lot more about them than
Right.
you.
That's a reflection of who they are, not you. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Because what you are is what will come out of you. If you're a happy person, I guarantee you, You're not out there commenting on negatively on nobody's page. You know why? You're too busy being happy. You're too busy looking at the sky and saying, "Wow, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life."
Mm-hmm.
You're not on a phone typing nasty words to somebody else. It's not possible. The two things cannot exist together. And I want people to know that, because I feel like there's a lot of people out there who think they're positive, and they think that, oh, I'm giving you constructive criticism, or as if by being negative, they're helping somebody else.
No.
That is showing you need to work on yourself, because why that's what you have to say, why that's all that's coming out of you, why? Think about it, right? So I want to end with this: everybody's journey looks different,
Yep.
and if social media is creating some sort of unhealthy idea that you're not doing well, or you're failing, or your life is not impressive, maybe you need to plug out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
maybe you need
mean,
to take a break.
sometimes it's good to look on other people if it creates that motivation for you, right? Not from a place of jealousy, but a place of, okay, they did it. They did it. You may not have seen the challenging journey. You've seen the end product. So they did it. So it kind of gives you that motivation for you to want to achieve it for yourself as well. If you're looking at it from that perspective, that's totally fine. But
Is
when
it
you're looking
real
at it from
motivation?
a pardon,
Is it real motivation?
it
Because
it can be, Cassie. It depends on the lens from which you're looking at it. If you're looking
mm,
at it and feeling like, oh, that person has accomplished so much and I am so behind, then that creates that pressure for you. But then if you're looking at it like from the perspective that the person has accomplished that, then I can do it too. But maybe the timeline it took them to do or to accomplish it, it might take you longer, but you don't feel bad because you haven't accomplished it yet. If you understand what I'm saying. So it to me it all boils down to how you're looking at it. Because
mm,
people look at social media from different lenses. Some persons they will look at it from a standpoint where they're jealous. Some persons will look at it as a motivator. Some persons will look at it as inspiration, right? To
inspiration, right?
right, and I feel like motivation and inspiration they can tie it together.
Mm.
So it depends on how. So basically, it depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, but I just want people to be, and when I say people, me included, us. I want
Mm-hmm.
us to be honest about our feelings, because a lot of the time we say one thing, but on the inside we feel differently. We might say, "Oh wow, that's so inspiring. That's so this," to the person, to their face, or not even, maybe to even to ourselves. But deep down inside,
It
it's
hurts
it hurts, or you feeling a certain type of
hurt
way,
to
you
be
know, and
high.
you're not addressing that feeling, and there's like you're pretending, you know. I want authenticity. We need to
Mm-hmm.
be real about what we're feeling. We need to be honest. They have too much hiding and too much pretending and too much, you know. If you cannot be honest with yourself, that's, to me, being authentic and being honest with yourself is the start to fixing whatever issues you may be going through to get to your happiness, whatever
Mm-hmm.
that is for you,
Right.
right? So that's just my take on it. My favorite part of what you said was the inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree with that part. But if you genuinely are actually inspired and you
Right.
are
The
actually happy
person.
for the
Right.
person, and you're not just
Mm-hmm.
saying that and deep down inside you know you're not. Yeah?
You know something too. Some people they, although it's rare, some people they show the ugly parts too, right? And that makes it more relatable. So you
Yeah?
see their ugly parts, you'll be like, oh, so yes, I'm at that point. I'm probably going through the ugly season right now, but look where they are now. Maybe 5, 10 years, I don't know, 2 years down the line, I will get to that point. So you're seeing the ugly part that will inspire to keep going.
Well, I feel like that's a message to you and I as well.
Yep.
Because even we're going through certain periods where we feel a little bit insecure, a little bit, are we doing the right thing? Should we have done it this way? What if people don't like it? I want to ask you this. I said earlier, you have
Mm-hmm.
to be strong to be on social media and handle the backlash and then, whatever people have to say and have a strong sense of self. Do
Mm-hmm.
you feel you're there? Do you think you're strong enough to handle it?
That's a very good question. Um, since we've been on social media, I haven't experienced like any negativity apart from just one comment that I saw today. And I saw the comment, I could have easily deleted it, but I left it and I carried on with my day because I just know that's just how it is with people. You cannot please everybody. So you should expect these type of comments. Not saying that it is right, but you just should expect it. So to answer your question, I feel like I will be able to handle it. And with social media, when you're doing content creation, it gets so busy that sometimes you miss some of these comments, right? So
True,
it
true.
you just have to focus on the positive ones and keep scrolling when you see the negative ones. And if they're persistent, you block them because you don't need that kind of negative energy in your space. So you block them and you move on.
Mm-hmm.
Because us, taking that bold step and putting ourselves out there is commendable. Because the old
Ooh.
Rochelle would not have done that, but I am finding my voice and I am speaking for what I'm speaking my truth. I'm trying to help others out there by speaking my truth and by educating them. So if that doesn't interest you, keep scrolling. It's as simple as that. And I
Yeah.
too, if you come here with your negativity, I will keep scrolling. But if it gets to a point where it's no longer manageable, I will block you.
Right. So the answer you just gave tells me that you are ready. It tells me that your sense of self is strong enough to handle it.
To handle
And
it. Now
I'm
that
happy.
doesn't give you a room to come with the negativity.
Right. Well, listen, they better not play with me. Okay.
You better not play with us.
Because going back to what I said, you cannot claim to be this good person and this positive person, and you're there on people's pages commenting negatively. Everybody
Right.
has their right to put what they want to put on their page. And if you don't like
Mm-hmm.
it, you scroll off of the
You
page and you go to a
scroll.
page you like.
Right.
What is the point? What is
Right.
to me, I imagining somebody sitting there, look at her, and commenting. You're not seeing it's you that's the problem. Because
Exactly. Why can't you
a
just
person,
move on?
yeah, a person who is genuinely happy would not, they would just, they see something that's not their vibe, they scroll to the next thing. They go to
Mm-hmm.
the next page. It is not, you cannot be policing people's pages. People have their calling to do what they need to do, and that is their business. You
Right.
know, I understand if something is directly affecting you, your name is being called out, or something is happening.
Right.
Okay.
And you have to
But
defend yourself. Yeah.
right, but if somebody has a page and they feel compelled to talk about a certain topic that's general, listen, you if you like it, you stay, you watch, you like, you comment. You don't like it, continue your day. And actually, to help yourself out, it might be better for
Mm-hmm.
you to actually go watch something you actually like. You will have a better day, you'll have a better experience. All of us will be better for it. Yeah?
Right.
So, I want to end this segment with just saying You know, I know that there can be immense pressure to be perfect and to be ahead of the game or to be what society deems successful. But I'm here to tell you it's not worth it. The anxiety, the depression, the low self worth, the dissatisfaction in your real life,
Mm-hmm.
it is not worth it.
People are already going through so much, like behind the scenes. The most you can do is be kind because you don't know what people are going through,
Mhm.
right? Maybe that person, they wanted to get into content creation for years now. Now they finally muster up the courage to do so, and you come in with all your negativity. You will discourage the person if they're not, mentally prepared for that kind of scrutiny or negative comments.
But it just comes back to hurt people hurt people. You've heard that, right?
Yes, they're bitter,
So
so they want you to be bitter too.
that's all it is. I'm telling you, there is no way if you're commenting negatively on somebody's page that you're happy. It's not
Right.
possible.
It's not
It's not
possible.
possible at all.
Mm-hmm.
So if you find yourself doing that, there needs to be some sort of reflection going on to try and figure out why you're so invested in somebody else's calling.
Right.
I also feel like social media has completely changed the way that people measure their self worth. Like a lot of people have become very dependent on the likes and the views and the comments and the followers, very emotionally attached to that. So, and the engagement without even realizing it. So, it's like if a post performs well, people
Mm-hmm.
feel validated, they feel attractive, they feel important, they feel right, they feel
Mm-hmm.
appreciated, they feel, oh, okay, I'm on the right path and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, right?
Right.
Which is usually not the case. But when something gets ignored, suddenly people start to feel embarrassed and they start to feel like a failure or rejected. Oh, I'm not doing good
Mm-hmm.
enough. And I'll give an example. When we just started, and I want to say this, a lot of people do not know our story. People will not go back and look at the first video to hear the explanation or to hear how it all started. They will just see certain parts and make
Mm-hmm.
assumptions. And,
Right.
you know, to me, you creating an incorrect perception of what the situation is, and you're creating unnecessary issues when you don't actually know the full story behind it. So, when we just started, I was struggling with the fear of being seen, and you know, I made like we all have our New Year's resolutions, and I
Mm-hmm.
think I've said this before in many videos that mine was enough talking the talk, it's time to walk the walk.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I went on Facebook for New Year's, keeping that promise to myself, and I went on live whilst I was doing my makeup to get ready to go to my New Year's function. And it wasn't to create necessarily create an experience or create content for anybody. It was me keeping a promise to myself to break that fear of being seen, right?
So
And
proud of you for doing that, for
thank
taking
you,
that bold.
thank you. And I remember my first couple videos with you, I felt like, oh, the likes were not too good. And I even blamed myself. And I even said, maybe it was because I'm on there. Maybe that's why, you know. But I firsthand had those fears. I firsthand understood feeling like it's not good enough, feeling like
Mm-hmm.
maybe I said the wrong thing, feeling like And you know what? To hell with it. I'm done. It is exhausting. No,
It,
Rochelle.
it
It's
is.
exhausting.
Because you
You
have to
trying to
constantly
be, yeah,
put
you
up
have to
with
be
that
this way. I have
image.
to be that way. I have to look the best I can look. I am a human being and I look how I look. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like people are too, so I'm sorry, but it's exhausting. People, they like to nitpick and they like to judge and they, guys, if
Mm-hmm.
everybody really studying themselves, none of that will be happening, Rochelle. If everybody really like, okay, how can I be the best that I can be? How can I improve? I see this thing, I don't really like it, but what good could I get from it? If you, everybody really, they were invested in improving and
Mm-hmm.
being happy, things would be completely different.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. So those things are very dangerous because your value as a human being should never depend on internet attention. That's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. We think about it. That is crazy.
It is. And you know the thing, like people, they look to the internet or social media for likes, for attention, and so on. And when they do not get it, they stop expressing themselves authentically, right? They start performing for validation instead. So they wouldn't ask themselves, what is it that genuinely makes me happy or makes me feel like myself? They will start asking themselves, what can I do to get that validation, to get those likes, to get those comments? And that's why you find a lot of women, not saying that it is wrong or because to each its own, everybody do whatever it is that they're comfortable with, but for some women, it's not that they're comfortable posting their, certain parts of their body out, but that's how they get that validation. That's what makes them feel good, right? And it shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't,
Yeah.
you shouldn't give me a like based on if I put my boobs out, if I put my butt out. If it's a genuinely nice photo and I'm modestly dressed, like the photo. Why does it have to be a case where I have to be, nude or for me to get that validation? I don't want to stray from the
Yeah.
topic too much, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
so the thing is that the identity, it becomes tied to perception instead of the reality. Okay? And people, they become afraid to post certain things. They are afraid to look imperfect. And that brings me back to my point where they feel like they have to expose certain body parts in order for them to get the likes and get the comments. People are also afraid to be vulnerable. And that is something that has really pushed me to tell my story. It is okay to be vulnerable. Every single person on this earth goes through something or are currently navigating something. It is okay to come on there. And I know some persons, they just like to they are just private people. But if you feel led to tell your story so that it can help somebody else out there, you should go ahead and be vulnerable. You shouldn't have that fear of what will other people say or think.
Yeah.
And
I
as you
always say vulnerability
Mhm.
is my superpower. And
Right.
a lot of people struggling with being themselves, it's because you're fighting who you really are. You're fighting your authenticity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what you were just speaking about, like feeling like you need to always have a certain type of look or a certain type of picture to get the likes.
Together.
Because there's a difference between living your life and you posting your pictures because that's just how you felt pretty today,
Right.
and purposefully surrounding your life or planning your life around a type of content, not because you love it or that's your real life, but because you want to get the likes or you do it specifically for the likes. It sounded to me a little bit like addiction. Like you need that dopamine hit. Like you need, it's almost like we've become conditioned to get outside approval,
Mm-hmm.
conditioned to get
Our worth is
attention,
tied to external validation, and
to
it
get
shouldn't
that
be that way.
reassurance, right? And you know how many times it even happens within me where I will say, I'll question myself about certain things, and then I'll say, but Cassie, you know it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? If you think it's good, then to you it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if it's something that you're doing for somebody else, yes, I understand you'll be concerned, you want it to be up to their standards. But when it comes to you and yourself, how you do your makeup or how you dress or whatever, the most important person who has to like it is you.
Is you. And let me be clear about what I said when I spoke about the nudity or posting, certain body parts out. If that's who you are as a person and you feel comfortable doing it, then go ahead and do it. But when it comes down to you doing it just to get the likes for you to feel validated, that's where the issue
Right.
starts. Because I know
Agreed.
there are some persons, they're into modeling, they're into this, they're into that. So if that's what interests you, and if that's what makes you happy, then go ahead and post your your
Right.
your photos. Some persons may not like it, some will like it. Those who do not
Mm.
like it, just scroll past it. Like,
Right.
it doesn't take nothing out of you to just scroll past it. Why do you have to leave a negative comment to make another human being feel bad?
But yeah.
Sometimes they're living
And
their dreams, and
you
you
know
coming
what's
there with
not
all that
okay too?
negativity. It doesn't help.
You know what's not okay too? People have forgotten what real bodies look like. I am
Mm-hmm.
sorry, but you all need to stop that. Okay? I Listen, you could like what you like. You like BBL, great. You
Do
like
your
this,
thing.
great. But
Stop holding
listen,
yourself to that standard.
I don't like that people are now trying to make it be the norm or
The
trying to
norm, like
make
you
it be
have
if
to be
you're
that
not looking
way
like
for you to
that,
look good.
right. If you're not looking like that, something wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it. We are human beings. No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be. I'm getting a little passionate about it because how can you? I just don't understand why people have forgotten what a real body looks like. Like all your BBLs and all what's going on, and nothing against that. People have the right to do what they want to do, Rochelle.
With their body.
But
But if I choose
but
not
do
to
not
do it, I shouldn't,
exactly
feel bad for not
exactly
wanting to do it or for not meeting that standard that society. Everything comes
exactly.
back to
But
the standards that society creates. We
and
we
I'm not
create those standards
saying
for ourselves. That's why you see me personally.
mm,
I've reached a point in my life where I do what I want. I don't go based on what society has, brainwashed us to think is the right way. There's no
a
right way.
lot
My
of
way for
brainwashing
my
going
life
on.
is the right way.
Girl,
Yes, you
a lot of brainwashing going on. A
a
lot
lot,
of it. A
a
lot of it.
lot, and it's very
And
sad. It's very sad.
I just I just want to clarify. I am not saying be unhealthy and have your body hurt your body or have habits that are not good for you. That's not what I'm saying. Eh? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I'll give an example myself, right? I like how I look,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And because of the BBLs and the perfect bodies being plastered out there, there are times when I may feel, have a little insecurity or feel, oh, my stomach looking out bigger than I want it to look, or this looking or that looking. And then I look at myself again and I'm like, girl, there's nothing wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like It's almost like it was becoming normalized
Right,
to
because you've been
have
conditioned to think that
yeah,
your
for my
body has
waist to
to be
be
in a certain look
zero.
a certain way.
Exactly. So then when I eat food and my stomach looks normal for somebody who just ate, I start feeling, oh wait, no, that is normal. I need to. It's like we have to remind ourselves.
Even
Listen,
right, even when we're taking out photos, we have to. They will be like, "Tuck in your belly, tuck in your belly." I mean, we all do it, but
so
yeah.
somebody once told me. I can't remember when this was in my life, but I remember that made me laugh out loud. We were taking pictures, and I was like, I don't like that. Like, oh, every picture we take, I didn't like it or whatever. I might say on my stomach or whatever, and then I remember that person tell me, you know, you have organs, right? You know, you need to go somewhere. You know, your stomach, it's housing organs in there. Like, there's stuff in there. You want to look like there's nothing in there. Like, I don't. And I'm watching that person, like, oh my gosh, you're right. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and again, I'm not saying be
Just let
unhealthy
yourself go, not
and
to go
let
to the
yourself go.
gym.
But
If that's
this
what makes you
this
happy, do
extreme,
it. That's what we're
right?
saying. Do it, but don't look down on somebody else if they choose not to do it.
I just feel like it's too extreme sometimes. It's just the pushing it out there, and if
Mm-hmm.
you eat and you have a little purge, or if you eat, it's the self worth, the way we see ourselves, it's warped,
Mm-hmm.
and I think social media has a part to play. Now we also have to put the blame on ourselves because guess what? We can choose what we watch. We can choose what we consume. So I can say I am not following certain pages that have an unrealistic view of what a woman should look like. And
Mm-hmm.
guess what?
We
Sooner
have
or
choice.
later, it's no longer normalized in my mind that I should be looking a certain way. So when I see myself and I look normal, it feels good and it feels normal. And
Mm-hmm.
I find, listen, this is another aspect of things. You cannot even be honest and just talk naturally because everybody think you're attacking them.
You're attacking them. At the end of the day, all we're saying, do what makes you happy. Don't
Period.
pressurize yourself to look like somebody else or do what somebody else is doing just for you to quote unquote fit in.
Exactly. And I want to end this segment with this, at least my contribution. You see the approval and the attention and the validation and the reassurance that you're seeking? Give it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Give it to your. That is the best thing you'll be able to do for yourself. Because
Mm-hmm.
seeking it from other people, guess what? You're constantly gonna be seeking it. Constantly, constantly.
Constantly.
So somebody tell you it not good. Oh, your life is ruined. Guys, why are we giving people so much power over us? Let's
Mm-hmm.
stop giving our power away. There's a meme I watched when a man said, "Don't let anybody ruin your day. Ruin your day yourself." Meaning, the power is with you. You get to choose. So
Mm-hmm.
if my validation comes from me, then nobody else can make me have a bad day but me.
Right.
That's
Right.
it.
You should have control. Not nobody, not anybody else. Let's touch a little bit on how doom scrolling can impact your anxiety levels because this podcast is all about mental health. So we need to tie it in, to see how it affects our mental health. These days on social media, people are constantly consuming bad news, violence, arguments. Oh, those are the arguments when they have fights in Castries or wherever on the island.
What?
Tragedy, all the
Where you seeing
shooting,
that? I don't know about that, Sir Michael.
and
Mm-mm.
outrage and all of that. And the thing is that our brain, it was never designed to process, this much, how would I say it, negative information, like emotional stimulation all day long, right? But now the thing is that people, they wake up and immediately they start consuming all that kind of that bad news, that bad energy, that stress before the day even begins.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is that doom scrolling, it keeps the brain in a constant state of alertness. When you wake up on a morning, guys, try your best, and I'm speaking to myself too, to refrain from, before you, some of us, before we even pray or we even meditate or do something to calm us down, we're on our phones and we're taking in so much, negative information. Not to say that you shouldn't follow the news and stay abreast with what's happening, but not as soon as you wake up or not constantly throughout the day. That has an impact on your brain, how it processes things, how your nervous system is constantly in alert mode. Any little thing will trigger you because you're so tense, you're not relaxed, guys. There needs to be a balance of how much of that type of information that we consume on a daily basis, especially on mornings, because the way you start off your day, it sets the
Mm-hmm.
tone for the rest
Mm-hmm.
of your day. So be
Mm-hmm.
mindful of that, guys. Go pray before you touch that phone. And I'm speaking to myself too, because sometimes my eyes, as I said before, my eyes barely fully open, my hand already stretching for the phone. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Who messaged me? Did I get a good morning text? Did I get a good morning text? What did I miss out on last night? And then you randomly scroll in, there was three shootings, three homicides, and then you're just like, oh my gosh, I've already, taken in so much for the day. And sometimes that dampens your mood because of the type of information that you're consuming this early.
Why do negative posts get more attention and engagement than positive posts? I want
That's a
to
good
know.
game. I think the viewers, they should give their perspective on that, because that's something that I've never fully understood. Right? We naturally gravitate towards negativity, both on social media and in reality. You see a fight, everybody running towards the fight. If there is a conference happening, everybody will be like, "Oh, what's happening?" And they
And they run. Oh,
their
are
business.
we addicted to negativity? Are we addicted
So
to drama? Do you think some people are? Do you think a
I think
large
so. I think
percentage?
that's where some people get their joy, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, whilst you were speaking, I was thinking of back in the day before social media. Let's say people in there, people couldn't communicate. Somebody is on the other side of the world. They have no idea what's happening across from there,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the issues they had to deal with were very limited. They're not constantly, oh my God, this is going on over there, and this is all they know is what's going on directly around them, because there were no phones, there were, like, social media didn't exist yet. So
Mm-hmm.
people were a bit more relaxed. People were a bit more. Now, that's not saying there wasn't negativity happening still, of course, right? But in terms of how much we consume and the anxiety and all of that, I feel it's because we're taking on too much. So
They
negative
are.
content spreads quickly online. I think because of fear. That's why that was my
Mm-hmm.
thing to break for
Does and I just wish.
2026. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I
Is
just
because
wish
of fear.
people. Yeah, and I just wish people would focus more on the positivity. We would be so much better as a society if we did. If we push the same way we push in the negative things, push the positivity as well, guys.
So I was
Push
just
it.
about to say that, because I was about to say, because of fear and outrage, it will keep people engaged. So the
Mm-hmm.
social media platform you on, if that's what you're consuming, then it will feed that to the users. Emotional content, intense content, negative content, you know, and That's not even just on social media, that's in your life, in your real life.
Yes,
What
it
you
is.
feed will grow. If you constantly crawling behind people, you constantly looking for it, or you constantly finding issues with something, that's what will follow you.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well
if
said.
you seek out positivity, it works the other way around, where that's what will follow you too.
Yep,
And
you'll
sometimes we
flourish.
say certain people just lucky. What if they're not? What if they're actually being intentional about
Mm-hmm.
what they watch, what they think, their thoughts? What if they're
What will help them
actually
develop? What will help them
chasing
grow?
positivity, and
Mm-hmm.
that's creating a circle of positivity for them? Maybe they started it, maybe it's not luck, maybe it's something they're actively seeking. And guess
Mm-hmm.
what? Let's try it out.
Yeah. We
Why
challenge
does it hurt to
everybody
try it out?
watching to focus more on the positive things. Give that more of your attention. Yes, you have to, you know, you have to follow the news. You have to know what's going on around you. And not just for the news, like you well, yeah, you have to follow the news, right? But don't consume too much of it. Don't make it take up too much of your day. Find that balance, especially, and I keep saying that, especially on mornings, guys. Feed yourself that positivity.
Yes. And another thing is that you were saying the news. Yes, you still have to watch news, but you have to balance. There needs to be balance, right?
Yeah, there needs to be,
There's another thing I thought of. How do we know that everything we see is true?
especially with AI in the mix these days.
So what if all the time you're watching this thing, it's feeding your fear, you get up, you're having a bad day because that's how you started your day, and it ended up being something that's not real?
Mm,
Not to be too quick to be so scared of everything all the time. I feel like eventually people become so overstimulated that they feel uncomfortable. They can't even sit
mhm.
quietly anymore without reaching for their phones, because, and I would say you know, because our
Yeah,
brains have become so addicted to the constant stimulation that it's like we're actively seeking it out. And I feel like that level of overstimulation can absolutely affect anxiety levels and
mhm.
stress, your sleep, your concentration, your mood, your overall mental health, your communication, just everything, you know.
Yeah. You know what, Cassie? Another thing is that social media has normalized performative happiness, right? People feel the need to always appear okay all the time, right? Even though they're mentally or emotionally struggling. So they would be anxious, they would be depressed, they would be grieving, they would be overwhelmed in private, but they will still post their pictures, smiling, looking like they're living their best life. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. But over time, constantly performing happiness instead of expressing honesty, it can create emotional disconnection within yourself. So, guys, basically, it's okay to say that you're not okay. You don't have to always put on that front that you are okay. Maybe if you don't want to post, anything related to whatever it is that you're going through, maybe take some time off of social media and speak to a loved one about what you're going through. And yes, you can still post your photo smiling or whatever, but don't just ignore that feeling or that season that you're going through and make it appear like you have the perfect life. That's all I'm saying.
The sad part is that when we watch that content and we watch these posts, a lot of us are thinking that, oh, this person is doing so much better than me, right? It's an assumption. I
Mm,
was speaking about that earlier, and look, we're touching on it again. It is very
yeah.
easy to assume that everybody else is doing better than we are. I feel like social media can create that illusion that everybody is constantly happy and thriving
This
and
is not true.
successful.
We be going through it. We be going through it. The
Yeah.
Bible says it, that this life is gonna be full of troubles. So no matter how happy Cassie they appear to be, there must be an issue that they're dealing with at hand. Don't let them fool you.
Yeah,
Go
but
on.
that
Sorry for
that
interrupting you.
also, no, that's okay, but that also doesn't mean they're not actually happy. Just because you have issues doesn't mean you're not a happy person.
That
You know?
is true, but
Yeah.
but sometimes we looking on their life feel like they have it all together. But I'm saying they
Mm.
must be dealing with something. Some persons, their situation might be worse than others, but they must be dealing with something. It can be something simple as an insecurity. For another
Yeah.
person, they might be suffering financially. We just don't know what people are going through. So we
Yeah.
just look at them on the surface and we assume that they have the perfect life, but that's not always the case.
Can we stop doing that? These assumptions. It's very
We need
dangerous
to.
and
We need
damaging.
to because it affects
Extremely
ourselves.
damaging.
Mm.
People see something and they say what they want and they spread it. Guys, please stop doing that. Just because you see something, it doesn't mean that that's what's actually happening.
Right.
No, you. Some people always think they know everything, and like, guys, as Rochelle was saying, there are always things happening behind the scenes that you don't know
Oh.
about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, don't be so quick to assume
Mm-hmm.
that you know what's happening and judge the person over that. That is extremely damaging, not just to yourself but to the other person as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that disconnect of perceiving and assuming, it creates a big disconnect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And creates loneliness, it creates isolation and pain, because you start thinking that that's the truth, and
Mm-hmm.
thinking that you're the only one struggling, when I promise you that you are not, even
Some pe-
though
some are
everybody
dealing
else
with
seems okay.
heartbreak. Some are dealing with academic stress. Some are dealing with work pressure. Some are burnt out. Some are dealing with family issues. Some of them are dealing with financial issues. Everybody's going through it,
Yeah.
right? And that's more reason for us to be kind to others. Because although they may appear happy online, there must be something. It's guaranteed there must be something that they're going through behind the scenes. So be
And
nice.
you know what? I don't even think we need to go that far to validate. Oh, that person must be going through something bad, so I don't need to feel bad that they look happy. I don't think we need to go that far. I think just focus on yourself. I will keep coming back to that, Rochelle, because to me it's as simple as
Mhm.
that. To me, it it resolves all a lot of those issues. If you just worry about yourself and what you have going on and being the happiest you could be and helping as many people as you can
Mhm.
and being positive, a lot of these issues that we will not be having, is because we too much worrying about what somebody else have going on and looking at minding people business and judging people.
And sometimes it might be easier said than done because some people have become so attached to social media. So make it your duty, to take time off of social media from time to time. I know they have some people they purge, like every a couple of months. You
I
you you
have a
stay away
friend who
from
does
social.
that.
Yeah, you stay away
Yeah.
from social
She,
media. You focus on
listen,
yourself. You use that
she
time
just
to
delete the
improve.
app every I can't remember how often, but it was often, because sometimes I'd be like, you didn't see that thing I sent you. She tell me, girl, I delete that app. And
Mm-hmm.
then a month later, she's like, hey, I see whatever that girl I sent you that 2 months ago. Like, what you know?
And I've
So
done that during my depressive period. I did that because I just could not, keep seeing and remember I was isolating, so all I had was my phone, and it felt like it was draining me. So I did take some time off of In fact, I deleted Twitter, and up to a day like today, I don't go on Twitter
Girl,
because
do
I
what
was
you gotta
so
do. Do what you gotta do
yes,
for your mental health.
I was so attached to Twitter that when I woke up in the morning, I felt like I knew the people, like I needed to know what was going on with them, and that's when I realized, no, this is getting too serious. I need to get off of Twitter. I was too
Yeah,
because I had a lot of time on my hands. I was isolating. So do
right.
whatever you think is, as Cassie said, is necessary for
For
you to
you,
feel
right.
better, right?
And whilst you were speaking, I thought about my patterns and how certain things have changed. I used to be that person who, something is happening and I cannot face it or I cannot deal with it. So
Mm-hmm.
I, yes, my way would be blocking or deleting whatever, deleting the app or deleting the number, deleting messages, whatever
Mm-hmm.
the situation is. But I'm now realizing we're able to coexist. Meaning it can be there and I see it and I keep scrolling and I don't feel how I
That's
used to
growth.
feel
That's
before.
growth.
And
That's
I'm
growth.
proud of myself for that.
Yeah.
I mean, of course I'm
Mm-hmm.
still working on it. I'm not perfect, but I'm a lot less bothered and it doesn't get a reaction out of me anymore. And I think it's because I have disconnected myself from like thinking everything is about me. Meaning
Mm,
the way this person acting, they're gonna figure that out.
yeah.
I need to figure me out.
Mm.
And once I started doing, girl, for real, I need to figure out
Mhm.
my life. Once I
Mhm.
started doing that, it's like I don't really give thought to what the person doing. Like somebody could be sending words for me and I don't know because I'm so worried about, girl, I need to get it together. What I have to do today. So it's like, and that I never understood either, the throwing words for people. What?
Mhm.
What is that? Guys, come on. Do you want to be happy or not?
I need a refill
Guys,
on that note.
that's crazy. I think that people need to start focusing on how they feel. People need to start paying attention to what they're watching and consuming on social media and how it makes them feel emotionally. Because if you're constantly being like left anxious, insecure, drained, disconnected, or overstimulated, that's very important.
Mhm.
That's dangerous, and that's something you need to pay attention to and you need to change. And I don't like that we like to put things out of our control as an excuse to stay the same. Meaning,
Mhm.
oh, I have anxiety, or like, you have all these issues, but you so far removed from it. It's not your fault. It's something that's just happening out of nowhere, and you cannot control. Guys, take responsibility for yourself, for your feelings, and
Mhm.
figure out where it's coming from, and get the help that you need to get.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, we have the power to improve those things if we seek the right help, you know,
Mhm.
because there's therapists, there's medication, there are options. Stop sticking at, oh, well, that's just how I am, and that's just, well, I just have anxiety, and and you just acting erratic all the time, or you constantly in bad situations, and, well, that's just my life, and I am lucky, and you're not unlucky. Come on. There is something you're not looking at. And me too. When I say
Me
you, I
too.
mean us. Yes, I mean us. Like, that's something I try to work on. When something happens that I don't prefer or I don't want to participate in, I say to myself, Cassie, what was your contribution in attracting that situation to you? Because
Mhm.
I guarantee you there was a contribution. Now,
Yep.
I'm not saying of course there are extreme cases like abuse and stuff like that, and I'm in no way, shape, or form saying that people are attracting abuse to them. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is, if there is a pattern of always being in arguments or always being in, we all have certain patterns that repeat themselves that can be very negative. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just saying, how about we stop just saying that's how I am, and we start paying attention to it and seeing our part in it, not just the other person's part. Not just, oh, is you that wrong? You that? What about me? Am I wrong? Maybe I was wrong all the time and I didn't realize it. Maybe that's what I needed to realize for there to be change. We
Mm-hmm.
need to be open to that. And the last thing that I want to say is that what somebody else thinks of you is between them and God. Okay? Let them talk to God about that.
Mm-hmm.
You care more about what you think of you. Actually, more importantly, know who you are, the good and the bad, not
Mm-hmm.
just the good and you're avoiding the bad. Know who you are, take responsibility for both good and bad, work on the bad parts. And that's it. Like, that's my biggest takeaway. That's the biggest thing that I have learned, which helped me with my fear, getting over, you know, judgment and being afraid of what people think, is that
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have to be okay with me at the end of the day. I am the one with me all the time, 24/7, right? So that's the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could leave people, if anything, it's that. Try to focus more on how you feel about yourself than
Right.
what other people think. What
Right.
about you, Rochelle?
I want to let persons know that your mind, it deserves rest. You should never depend on likes, comments, followers, views, or just internet approval, right? To make you feel worthy. Social media, it can be a tool, but it should never become the thing that controls your peace, your happiness, your identity, and your emotional well being. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. This was a very interesting conversation. Cassie, I really enjoyed, speaking with you, and
Same here.
I think that you made some very valid points. That both of us, we need to, take into consideration certain aspects and take into consideration and apply to our lives as well,
Yes.
and the viewers as well. So, guys, once again, thank you for tuning in. This is Breaking the Silence. Until next time, bye.
Bye.